This policy paper will address the collateral consequences of imprisonment that create obstacles to successful reentry. For the purpose of this paper, we will be addressing the policies of the federal government. The idea of reentry is comprehensive. It includes all programs and activities geared towards ex-offenders successfully reintegrating into society. Research shows that two-thirds of the inmates released from prison will be rearrested within 3 years of their release. By studying and understanding the results of reforms, policymakers can create evidence-based policies. Evaluations confirm if reforms are reducing recidivism and increasing the safety of communities. Further, evaluations will inform what is working and what isn't and uncover any unexpected outcomes or negative impacts that reforms may have. Beyond these immediate benefits, systematic evaluation also strengthens accountability and transparency within the justice system. When reform initiatives are tracked through measurable indicators such as reoffense rates, program completion rates, employment outcomes, or community stability, stakeholders can clearly see whether public resources are being used effectively. This transparency not only builds public trust, but also ensures that agencies and organizations remain committed to the reform's intended goals rather than drifting towards ineffective or outdated practices. Additionally, evaluations help refine the design and implementation of programs by identifying gaps between policy intentions and on the ground realities. For instance, a reform may appear promising in theory, but fail in practice due to inadequate staffing, insufficient training, or a lack of coordination between agencies. Evaluative data highlights these operational barriers, enabling policymakers to adjust strategies, allocate funding more strategically, or develop targeted supports to strengthen implementation. This process of continuous improvements prevents reforms from becoming stagnant and ensures they evolve as new challenges emerge. Under the leadership of the U.S. Department of Justice, the Bureau of Prisons will lead the implementation working with state correctional education boards and other organizations focused on vocation and reentry. Because the BOP, or Bureau of Prisons, manages education and career technical programs under the FSA, thus making them the appropriate agency to monitor and evaluate the progress of the increase and benefits thereof. When would evaluations take place? Monitoring and gathering of data could be conducted at least annually, using the benchmarks first established during that first fiscal year. A quasi-experimental research method could compare participants in expanded programs with similar situated individuals who are not enrolled in such programs. The evaluation of progress measures would track how well the programs adhere to given curricula, participation goals, and allocation of funding. Outcome evaluation would measure the long-term effect on the reentry reform success. Short-term statistics, enrollments and completions should emerge between 12 to 18 months. This will help determine if the reform has effectively reached its target 25% increase and if the funding increase correlated to the greater participation. Long-term results, reduction in recidivism, and improved post-release employment will require between 3 to 5 years to evaluate meaningfully. This time frame would align with typical federal research protocols and prior reentry evaluations, which note that measuring 3-year recidivism provides a reliable benchmark. Expanding on this, the staggered timeline for evaluations allows policymakers to differentiate early program performance from true long-term impacts. Early indicators, such as enrollment surges, program attendance, or completion rates, serve as essential process metrics, revealing whether the infrastructure of the reform is functioning as intended. For example, if participation remains stagnant despite increased funding, evaluators can examine barriers such as limited outreach, logistical challenges, or eligibility restrictions. Conversely, strong early participation numbers may signal that the program is responsive to the needs of the target population. validating the initial investment and prompting deeper inquiry into which aspects of the reform are most effective at drawing individuals in. In contrast, long-term performance metrics paint a more substantial picture of reform's ability to change life outcomes. Tracking recidivism over several years captures not only just immediate behavioral change, but sustained desistance from crime, an outcome heavily influenced by stable employment, community support, access to services, and the quality of reentry programming. Similarly, employment outcomes following release require time to develop, as individuals must first complete training, build skills, navigate the job market, and maintain stable work over time. A 3 to 5 year evaluation window acknowledges these realities and ensures that findings reflect genuine trends rather than short-term fluctuations. Ultimately, a structured short-term and long-term evaluation plan not only strengthens the credibility of the reform, but also ensures that policymakers can advocate for sustained funding using rigorous time-tested evidence. In conclusion, monitoring and evaluating the 25% expansion and reentry programming must combine data collection, analysis, and transparent reporting. Immediate gains will be visible in the short term, but the true test of its effectiveness is sustained employment and lower recidivism.